Assalamu alaikum. Bhutto! It is truly a pleasure for me to be here today to address our patriotic Pakistanis living abroad. Most of you were first forced into exile during our country's darkest dictatorship in the 1980s. Even though the dictator's state had given up on you, you never gave up on Pakistan, and now have become the lifeblood of the Pakistani economy. In fact, it is under the PPP government that overseas remittances have increased from $6 billion from when we replaced the Musharraf dictatorship to almost $13 billion under our democratic government. We are committed to ensuring your right to vote in elections. We are committed to the idea that dual nationals should be able to participate in all our country's civic matters. And that includes the right to contest elections. No unelected person has the right to question the loyalty of anyone elected by the people of Pakistan. You must have your voices heard in the next election. If they don't let you run, if they don't let you vote, speak to your family and friends. Come back to Pakistan yourselves and support the party that has not given up on your voice and on your vote. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that once again the Pakistan People's Party is making history. It may not be the story that you watch on your TV screens or the news you read about in the papers, but it is the transformation of Pakistan that is taking shape on the ground beneath our feet. The ground beneath our feet is shifting. Our people are paying an enormous price in blood, sweat, and tears, sacrificing collectively to create a new, modern, and equitable future for our children and the generations yet to come. Despite all the conflicts and challenges, let me remind you that Pakistan is making its first constitutional and peaceful transfer of power in all its history. We have transformed a dictatorship into a democracy. We have restored the supremacy of Parliament. We have stripped the Constitution of the illegal powers usurped by military dictators. We have nourished a thriving civil society and restored one of the freest presses in the world. No one thought it could happen. But almost 5 years after my mother's shahadat and the election of a new government, democracy in Pakistan is strong, growing, and laying the groundwork for a very different future for the country that we all know and love. We have been accused of not fulfilling any of our promises. We have achieved more than we ever have in the past. The restoration of the 1973 Constitution has been part of our manifesto since 1986, and it is not until this government that we have finally achieved this goal. We have devolved power to the provinces, thus decentralizing government and bringing it closer to the people. What this means is that provinces have both the resources and the responsibility as key stakeholders in governance. Roti Kapra and Makan has been our slogan ever since the PPP's first election. We have done more during this government than ever before. Our government has created the first social safety net for the poor in our nation's history. Today, the women of our households are being empowered within their families and thereby improving society as a whole. This is an enormous accomplishment that will not only take women to the path of empowerment, but will benefit their children as well. Let me remind you, we led by example and have been the only government not to hold any political prisoners in the history of Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, poverty in Pakistan is a stain on our collective conscience. Our country is full of people who have great ideas, and they should be afforded the same opportunities as everybody else. With Pakistan's booming population, there's no shortage of people who are ready, willing, and able to work. They just lack the skills to do so. That's where the Wasile-e-Rozgar program, started by your party's government, comes in. On the economic front, the PPP came into power amidst the worst global recession in recent history. It is our government's policies that has prevented certain collapse. Our economy has withstood the global economic catastrophe, natural disasters, and the menace of terrorism. Unlike even the world's greatest economies, we have not had to bail out a single bank. While Europe falls into a double-dip recession with negative economic growth, despite external shocks that led to fiscal deficit, Pakistan has against all odds managed to have an annual GDP growth of almost 4%. Our exports crossed an historic benchmark of $25 billion this year. It is the PPP's economic policies that have achieved this. It is our agricultural policy that has transformed Pakistan from a wheat importer to a wheat exporter. For example, by increasing the wheat support price, we have empowered our farmers to grow more wheat. We have literally gone from being a country unable to feed ourselves, we had to import wheat, to being able not only to feed ourselves, but also feed the world with our surplus wheat. This is just one of many policies that have led to a boom in our agricultural sector. In the last 2 years, our agricultural policies have enabled our farmers to earn an additional income of approximately 800 billion rupees. The global escalation in prices of oil and food affects the daily life of the average Pakistani. The PPP has tried its best to limit the impact on the common man, while at the same time maintaining our obligation of fiscal responsibility to the economy as a whole. We see inflation as one of our most pressing issues, once again, because of the effect it has on the common man. Despite the enormous economic challenges we face, your government has more than halved inflation from its peak of 25% to 11%. This means the cost of everyday goods for the average Pakistani are cheaper than they otherwise would be. We face huge economic challenges. However, it is also time we as Pakistanis show some economic patriotism, especially when we have so many factors working against us, terrorism to natural disasters to the global economic crisis. It's our duty to point out how successful we have been in spite of this. For example, I bet none of you here have heard this fact. Bloomberg News rated the Karachi Stock Exchange as the 4th best performing in the world. Not in South Asia, not in Asia, not just in the East, in the world. Can you imagine? If this was any other government, at any other time, this fact, this indicator of the health of our economy, would be ignored by our own media. It is time for some economic patriotism. It is time to put our differences aside. We welcome constructive criticism. However, it is also our duty as Pakistanis to unite and highlight the good as well as the bad. The PPP's commitment to the labourers of Pakistan is second to none. We've regularized 12,000 contracted employees. We truly are the only party that is on the side of the workers and not captive to special interests who seek to profit from our national assets at the expense of the hard-working people who have devoted their lives to these companies. My mother's policy of reconciliation gives everyone that voice in the system, gives the smaller provinces an equal stake in the federation. Some of the genuine grievances of the smaller provinces can now be addressed, and And as this new structure takes root, the local needs of the people can be addressed in a real sense. As desperate as the situation in Balochistan is today, with every missing person, with every dead body, we realize that the Baloch family loses hope in Pakistan. We have stopped living in denial, and we cannot let the province bleed the way it has. We have taken historic measures to address the underlying causes of the challenges in Balochistan. Where Musharraf treated the people of Balochistan as enemies of the state, we see them as an integral part of Pakistan. We have a long way to go in addressing all the wrongs done to them. But at the very least, we've started the process. There's no going back now. One of the first acts of our government was to apologize to the people of Balochistan for the wrongs done to them. We then passed legislation that has changed the equation. And that means that instead of the Federation solely benefiting from their resources, there is a redistribution of resources where the localities, the provinces, and its people now have a share. In addition, the Balochistan package the government has passed addresses Balochistan's sense of discrimination and brings it to par with other provinces in terms of funds, employment, and infrastructure. There is no short-term solution. But for the first time in our history, we have made the necessary structural changes to address the long-term challenges that is necessary for a prosperous, peaceful, and stable Balochistan that plays its rightful, integral part in Pakistan. This sense of deprivation and discrimination also exists in the minority communities in Pakistan. Pakistan itself was founded as a land where the Muslims in India could live in peace and security, free from the worry of being second-class citizens. Law and order should protect the Christian, the Hindu, and any minority faith. Our government stands shoulder to shoulder with all minorities. Our model of citizenship is an inclusive one. We have passed legislation, such as the Human Rights Commission, which is designed to serve as a watchdog group to protect and fight for their rights whenever they may be infringed upon. Our party has always been the party for equal rights. And it is our party that has produced men of the caliber of Shahid Salman Taseer and Shahid Shahbaz Bhatti. Men who knew the dangers and risked their faith, but raised their voices and sacrificed their lives for the most vulnerable in our society, following in the footsteps of Shahid Mohtarma Benazir. For in a diverse society, such as ours, we cannot tolerate any discrimination against any faith. I join in the unanimous chorus of condemnation of that vile, hateful, blasphemous video that has unfortunately incited violence across the Muslim world. We know Islam teaches us that the murder of one innocent is the murder of all of humanity. When our Prophet, peace be upon him, was the messenger of peace, love, and harmony, how can we pretend to defend his honor with death and destruction? Surely those of us that protest peacefully are the true followers of Islam. The unity of all major political parties on this issue is inspirational. That we can stand united in our protest, united in our condemnation of violence, and united in our condemnation of this hateful video fills me with hope. I do wish that this unity existed for the threats we face from within. As Muslims and Pakistanis, we are often quick to unite and perceive threats to our religion from external forces, but are divided when it comes to threats against our country and our religion from within. I believe that all political parties in Pakistan have called for international legislation that restricts hate speech and criminalizes incitement to violence. How can we expect the world to act when we don't act on hate speech and incitement to violence that occurs in our own country. The incitement to violence, the distortion of facts, the purely fictional interpretation of Islam used to harm innocents in Pakistan goes unpunished. This must end. It is my belief this environment is being created by the enemies of Pakistan to orchestrate a genocide of our fellow Shia Muslims. The whole nation must stand united against this menace. We fly the Shia alam above Bilawal house as a symbol of my family's and my party's solidarity with our Shia brothers and sisters. Our beloved founder, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, was a Shia himself, and it is his vision for a pluralistic, peaceful society that our party wants to make a reality. We are the only political party that has consistently stood on the right side of history, opposed every dictatorship and committed to democracy every step of the way, and fought for the democratic rule in Pakistan. We believe a truly independent and impartial judiciary is a fundamental component to a democratic Pakistan. This is why we respect the majesty of justice and accept the rulings of the Supreme Court despite reservations. We will not violate the Vienna Convention. We will not violate the Constitution of Pakistan. If this court sees it fit to do so, if this court insists on trying the grave of Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto, to repeat the mistakes of history, to refuse to redeem itself from the role its institution played in the judicial murder of Shaheed Zardari, then the ultimate decisions will lie in the court of history, in the court of the people. The Pakistan People's Party must set the precedent for democratic governance to come, and we will therefore continue to follow the principles of democracy and the principles of justice, whether we agree or disagree with the Supreme Court's decision. While we can agree to disagree on whether justice is being done, we must all agree that the basic principle of justice is not only that justice should be done, but justice should be seen to be done. The judiciary in Pakistan will never build its reputation as a truly independent and impartial judiciary if there are double standards. It is highly inappropriate, for instance, that in the case of the Chief Justice's own son, the investigator, the prosecutors, and the judges who will hear the case are cherry-picked by the court. My hope is that the court will find its rightful role and carry out its duties in such a way that it restores its institutions' credibility. If the court cannot, or if the court will not, we the people must call for judicial reforms needed in a mature democracy. Our democracy also faces the challenge of governing while combating the threat of terrorism. We lost our leader, Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto, to this fight. We've lost our party workers to this fight. We've lost our soldiers to this fight. We've lost our innocent men, women, and children to this fight, but we will not lose our country to this fight. When we came to power, the extremists had taken over our beautiful Swat Valley. The government's strategy of dialogue, deterrence, and development was successful as a result. We have regained Swat from the terrorists. Those planning peace marches into Waziristan should visit the now thriving marketplaces of Swat, which were once the bloody squares where terrorists hung the bodies of innocent civilians in their hateful campaign of death and destruction. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our war. When our soldiers are fighting and dying for our country, abducted and beheaded by the Taliban, when our people are in schools, marketplaces, mosques, buses, going about their daily lives and are being brutally killed, how then can one say that this is not our war? We oppose drone strikes too. We will fight this war on our own terms and not at the dictation of foreign powers. Unlike the military dictator before us, who took orders from a single cold call, we have taken ownership of our foreign policy. I firmly believe there is nothing wrong with Pakistan that can't be fixed by what is great about Pakistan. Pakistan Zindabad!